That's where we're showing you Anthony
Man.
Davis.
This is bad, man. Already got my boy fired. Love you, Nico. Merry Christmas. It's time to do a full rebuild down in Dallas.
As you said at halftime.
Yeah,
So,
time to do a full rebuild.
Already.
Yep. Already?
Christmas Day is supposed to be about joy, family, good vibes. But for Dallas Mavericks fans watching their team take on the Warriors, it turned into a nightmare they've seen way too many times this season. AnthonyDavis limping off the court, again, holding his leg, again. And this time, CharlesBarkley wasn't holding back. The second Chuck saw AD go down, he dropped one of the most savage lines of the entire NBA season. He basically said, AD's injury problems are the reason his boy Nico got fired. Then he wished Nico a Merry Christmas on live television. While the man he was talking about sat on the bench getting treatment, but Chuck wasn't done. What he said after the game might completely change the direction of this franchise, and if Dallas is smart, they'll actually listen.
I got all the AD, maybe even Kyrie and Klay Thompson. It's time to start over and build around CooperFlagg.
Let's set the scene here. This was supposed to be CooperFlagg's big moment, his Christmas Day debut, the #1 overall pick, getting national television exposure against Steph Curry and the Warriors. The Mavs came into this game with a 12-19 record. Not great, but they'd actually been playing better lately. AD had strung together a few games in a row. There was actual hope building in Dallas for the first time since Luka was still wearing a Mavericks jersey, and for the first quarter and a half, things looked decent. Dallas was keeping it close. AD was doing his thing on the defensive end. Then the second quarter hit, and everything fell apart. With about 8 minutes left before halftime, AD was running in transition when something went wrong. He slowed up immediately. You could see it on his face. He limped straight to the bench, sat down, and that was it. Right groin spasms, done for the night. The guy played 11 minutes, 11 on Christmas Day on national television, with millions of people watching to see if this Mavericks experiment could actually work. He finished with 3 points and 3 rebounds. That's your franchise cornerstone right there, the guy you traded Luka Doncic for. 3 points in 11 minutes before his body gave out again. And Chuck, he was watching all of this unfold from the studio. The moment AD went down, Barkley made it crystal clear what he was thinking. This wasn't just about one game, this was about everything that's gone wrong in Dallas since February.
On paper, Kyrie, AD, and CooperFlagg. That looks really good, brother.
Looks really old. Old and unhealthy. Well, they're not one of the 4 best teams in the West, Shaq.
After the Mavericks lost that game, Barkley went even further. He didn't just criticize the team. He called for Dallas to completely tear it down and start over. His message was simple. Trade Anthony Davis, trade Kyrie Irving when he's healthy enough to have value. Trade Klay Thompson. Get rid of all of them. The only player Dallas should be building around is CooperFlagg. And honestly, it's hard to argue with his logic. Chuck pointed out something that should terrify every Mavericks fan. This roster doesn't just look bad right now. It looks old and unhealthy. Those 2 words together are a death sentence in the NBA.
Well, I think a good way to do it is kind of like the way Kevin Durant was brought into the league. He was brought in, and Ray Allen was there kind of on his last of Ray Allen. And being the go-to guy. So now he even though he's getting 27, 29, when you have an AD and when you have a Kyrie for that 1 year, you don't have to have that pressure of you're learning the game, and you don't have the pressure of being the guy that they're double teaming every night, and it could stunt your growth. So I think doing that would probably help him.
Yeah, but I would like to see those guys.
I want to see it. I'd like to see it in the second half of the season.
At least, 30, 40 games, to see what
it looks like.
I don't. I think you start to rebuild because they don't have any draft picks.
AnthonyDavis is 32 years old and can't stay on the court. Kyrie Irving is 33 and still recovering from a torn ACL. Klay Thompson is 35 and clearly past his prime. These aren't the guys you build a championship team around in 2025. But here's where it gets even worse for Dallas. They don't own their first-round picks from 2027 through 2030. All those picks went out in trades when they were trying to build a contender around Luka, so if they want to rebuild, they can't even do it the traditional way. They have no draft capital. The only path forward? Trading these veterans for whatever assets they can get, and doing it now before their value drops even more. Not everyone on the panel agreed with Chuck's nuclear option. Kenny Smith made a solid point. He brought up how Kevin Durant entered the league. When KD was a rookie, he had veterans around him like Ray Allen, guys who could take the pressure off. Durant didn't have to be the man from day one. He could learn the game while surrounded by experienced players. Kenny's argument is that Flagg could benefit from the same thing. Having AD around, even for 1 year, means opposing teams can't just double Flagg every possession. It lets the rookie grow without the full weight of the franchise on his shoulders. Shaq agreed with that take. He said he'd like to see this whole roster play together when everyone's healthy, give them 30 or 40 games together before making any drastic moves. And look, that sounds reasonable on paper. The problem is the assumption behind it. When has this team ever been healthy? AD has missed significant time in literally every season of his career. He's played in only 15 or 16 games this year. Kyrie has been out since March with that ACL tear. The idea that Dallas is going to suddenly get healthy and figure things out feels more like wishful thinking than an actual plan.
If those guys went to another team, they could help them because the East is wide open. There's a couple teams in the West. Obviously, we know who the best teams are. But if I'm in the Eastern Conference, we got my man C.J. McCollum down in free C.J., y'all.
From D.C.
Come on, free C.J. C.J. is a hell of a player. He can help. He can make a team a contender.
I think there's going to be a bunch of guys that you see move it's going to kind of change the landscape.
Well, I think there's Trae Young, Ja Morant, Zion.
You throwing Giannis in there?
Well, Giannis is interesting because he wants to go to New York.
How do you know that?
Because he said it, fool.
He said he didn't say I want
Yes, he
to
did.
He didn't say it.
Yes, he did.
I
Yes,
want
he
to
did.
go.
Maybe he
did.
said it to Chuck in private.
No, he wants to go. He wants to
They
go to
said
New
it.
York.
He didn't say it.
He did say that.
He did buy a house down this.
But there's nothing in New York. Don't have anything.
Now let's talk about why Chuck specifically mentioned Nico getting fired, because that comment wasn't random. There's a real connection here that most people missed. Nico Harrison was the general manager who made the Luka trade. He's the one who decided that AnthonyDavis was worth giving up a 25-year-old superstar who just led the team to the NBA Finals. And for that decision, Mavericks fans made his life miserable. From the moment that trade went down, the Fire Nico chants started every single home game. Didn't matter if Dallas was winning or losing, the fans would not let it go. It became the unofficial anthem of the American Airlines Center. On November 11th, the organization finally gave in. Nico Harrison was fired after a 3-8 start to the season, just 9 months after making the biggest trade of his career. But here's the thing that bothered Chuck. He actually defended Nico after the firing. Barkley said his friend got screwed. He said Nico was being made a scapegoat for a decision that the entire organization signed off on. Think about it. There's no way a general manager has the power to trade away a franchise player like Luka Doncic without the owner approving it. Patrick DeMont, the team's governor, had to give the green light, but when things went south, only Nico took the blame. And what went south exactly? The injuries, AD getting hurt immediately after arriving, then Kyrie tearing his ACL in March. The whole premise of the trade was that defense wins championships, and having healthy, experienced players would push Dallas over the top. Instead, they got a guy who can't stay on the court and another guy who's been rehabbing for 9 months. So when Chuck saw AD limp off on Christmas Day, he connected the dots. This is why Nico lost his job. These injuries are why the fans turned on the front office, and nothing has changed. Let's be real about something. The concerns about AnthonyDavis weren't exactly a secret. Everyone knew the risk when Dallas made that trade. AD is one of the most talented big men in NBA history when he's healthy. His defensive impact is elite. He can score from anywhere on the floor. He changes games just by being out there, but the key phrase is when he's healthy. Go look at his career. The man has never played a full season. He's always dealing with something. A shoulder, a groin, a calf, an ankle. It's a different body part every few months. This season alone, he's missed 14 games with a calf strain. Now he's out with a groin issue. Last season, he got hurt in his very first game as a Maverick. His home debut, played great in the first half, then suffered an abductor strain and missed 18 games. The pattern is undeniable, and it's exactly what Mavericks fans feared when the trade happened. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic is in Los Angeles, averaging over 34 points per game. He's played in 22 games already. He's putting up MVP caliber numbers and making the Lakers look like a completely different team. The contrast is painful. Dallas gave up a guy who shows up every night and plays at a superhuman level. They got back a guy who's physically incapable of staying healthy, no matter how good AD is when he plays. The availability gap between these two players is massive, and that's the real tragedy here. The trade wasn't just bad because of what Dallas gave up. It was bad because of what they got back. Player whose body simply cannot handle the demands of an NBA season. Now here's the silver lining in all of this mess. CooperFlagg is the real deal. When AD went down on Christmas Day, Flagg didn't shrink from the moment. He stepped up and carried the team. He scored 10 points in the second quarter alone. He kept Dallas in the game when everyone else was struggling. His final line was ridiculous: 27 points on 13 of 21 shooting, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block. All of that in 36 minutes of action. That stat line put Flagg in historic company. He became the first rookie since Pete Maravich in 1970 to post at least 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on Christmas Day. The only other rookie to ever do that was Oscar Robertson. He also became the youngest player to play on Christmas since LeBron James back in 2003. Think about that. The last teenager to play on this stage was LeBron. Now Flagg is doing it and putting up numbers that belong in the same conversation. Over his last 12 games, Flagg is averaging better than 25 points per game on 54% shooting. He scored 33 against Denver right before the Christmas game. The kid is figuring it out in real time. This is exactly why Barkley wants Dallas to commit to him now. Flagg is 18 years old with a 40-year-old skill set. His feel for the game is off the charts. His ability to get to the basket and finish through contact is already elite. Why would you surround this kid with aging, injury-prone veterans? Why not trade those guys, get some picks or young players back, and let Flagg develop as the clear-cut leader of this franchise? The future standing right there on the court every night. Dallas just needs to accept it. Barkley already told you what he thinks the answer should be. He said the East is wide open right now. Teams over there would love to add a player like AD or Kyrie to push them over the top. Dallas could get real assets back if they make these guys available. And honestly, the math makes sense. What's the point of keeping this core together if they can never actually play together? You're just wasting everyone's time. CharlesBarkley has been around the NBA for decades. He's seen franchises make smart decisions and dumb decisions. He knows what a team in denial looks like, and right now, Dallas looks like a team in denial. The Luka trade was a disaster. That's not even debatable anymore. The return was underwhelming, and the main piece coming back has barely been able to contribute because his body keeps breaking down. Chuck's point about AD getting Nico fired wasn't just a joke, it was the truth. Those injuries changed everything. They turned a risky but defensible trade into an unmitigated catastrophe. And now someone had to pay the price, but firing Nico doesn't fix the roster. It doesn't make AD healthy, it doesn't bring Kyrie back faster. The problems are still there, staring Dallas in the face every single night. The only thing that actually makes sense now is accepting where they are and building toward the future. And the future is CooperFlagg. This kid is special, everyone can see it. Steph Curry said it after the Christmas game, the league is in good hands with Flagg, the future is bright, but that future only happens if Dallas commits to it. If they stop chasing some fantasy where AD plays 65 games and Kyrie comes back at full strength and suddenly they're contenders again, that's not happening. Sometimes the smartest move in basketball is knowing when to start over, knowing when to cut your losses and build something new. Dallas had their chance with Luka and they blew it, now they have another chance with Flagg. The question is whether they're smart enough to take it or whether they'll keep running it back with an old, injured roster that's going absolutely nowhere. Chuck already told you what he thinks, and honestly, he's probably right.